especially through fighting criminality, because it has a big capacity than before when they started the disarmament process. The president was addressing leaders from Karamoja sub-region in a meeting that took place at Moringa State Lodge, Napak district in Karamoja sub-region. The meeting was attended by 26 MPs from 9 districts of Karamoja, all the 9 RDCs, LC5 chairpersons, and all the security heads in the region.
To have like 5 characteristics. Number 1, raiding cattle. And you are saying the Topotha, the Dodoth, they want to raid. Well, they shouldn't, because they will be destroyed. Especially when they try to raid on a big scale. That one is easy to deal with. I don't know why it should be such a big problem. So the one problem is raiding. Anybody who raids cows, because cows are not gold, which you can put in your pocket. Cows are sin. How can they be a problem?
General Museveni promised to increase the capacity of the brigade in the area up to 70,000 personnel.
Those UAVs you are talking about, what you call drones, we have got UAVs which can be in the air for 36 hours. All these are easy to solve. And the UPDF will solve them. But what will remain is crime now. Crime. Where the police should come in. I will meet these security people, and we shall agree on the distribution of roles. The UPDF should be able to deal with this little problem. This is not such a big problem, especially for us, because we have got a lot of capacity now, even more than that time when we were disarming. We have now big capacity now. Big. This is nothing.
The president also agreed to strengthen the justice system in the region by adding more state attorneys, as requested by the leaders. On the issue of hunger, the president pledged to talk to the prime minister to get food for the people of Karamoja who are suffering. The president commended the Ministry of Karamoja for the development projects in the area and said government will even do more. The minister in charge of Karamoja Affairs, Honorable Dr. Mary Goretti Kitutu, highlighted key areas of intervention by government and other development partners in the area that include water production, education, infrastructure, health, and others. In a memorandum by leaders read by the chairperson of Karamoja Parliamentary Group, also Member of Parliament for Pien County, Honorable Ridge Mayor Chia, highlighted that while for over 15 years the region has become an investment destination for many Ugandans and foreigners after the removal of over 40,000 illegal guns from the hands of civilians by the army, the unattended to issues in Karamoja have resurrected the insecurity.
The cumulative effect of unattended conflict situations then emboldened some other criminal gangs and groups to start now going openly to attack other peaceful and disarmed communities.
They called on government to initiate a 10 to 15-year free education program for all youth, from primary to secondary education, to stop their recruitment and training into cattle raids. The group also recommended intelligence-led operations to curb crime and pave way for disarmament and quick deployment. Samuel Sendono, UBC News.
Now, mourners have described the fallen business tycoon Haji Ibrahim Chibirige Mwanga, commonly known as BMK, as a talented businessman who ran successful businesses and groomed many. He's said to be the first businessman who started importing second-hand vehicles from Japan that propelled him into owning many businesses, including Hotel Africana. Now, according to his family, BMK died of prostate cancer and will be buried on Sunday.
Relatives and friends have thronged the home of the fallen business tycoon Chibirige Mwanga, popularly known as BMK, at his residence situated at Naguru Hill to condole with the family. By midday, service providers were at advanced stages of preparations to start prayers as mourners await for the body that will arrive at Entebbe on Saturday.
We expect the plane to be here. It's a chartered plane coming tomorrow around between 1 and 2 p.m. and you know clearance from the airport may take another 1 or 2 hours. So we expect his body to be here by around 4 or 5. So burial is definitely on Sunday at 2 p.m. But the celebrations, the preachings and so on will start by 11 a.m. at Nkowe, Hoima Road. He bought that land. It's a burial ground. It's a cemetery for Muslims. And he demarcated off a piece where he buried his own mother, his own daughter, and that's where he's also going to be buried.
Isaac Ngovia, who is a family member, confirmed to the media that BMK died of prostate cancer.
Like I said, 7 years ago, he had a business trip in Japan. He had terrible backache, and he went to see his doctors in Thailand. So that's where he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and it was already at stage 4, and it was very vigorous.
The business personalities have described BMK as a talented businessman who ran successful businesses and also groomed many.
It's sad. This morning we received the worst news of the week, the passing on of one of our favorite parents, one of our mentors, people who have, one of the example of people who have hustled from zero to the top. He's a billionaire, self-made. He's not someone's son. Just the same way you see Balaam. He motivated me to become one, and I'm looking forward one day to become one. He has motivated so many young people. He has hosted our concerts at Africana, at his parking. He has hosted us in his gym, in his health club. We shall forever remember him as a kind-hearted Muslim doctor.
He has been helping many people. He has paid school fees for many people. He has always been an entrepreneur. He has started created many jobs for many people. So
it's reported that BMK is the first businessman who started importing second-hand vehicles from Japan. That propelled him into owning many businesses, including Hotel Africana in Kampala, Moroto, and Lusaka. He also owns motorcycle companies in Uganda, Rwanda, Zambia, Tanzania, and Nairobi, Kenya. BMK will be buried on Sunday at Hoima Road. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kampala.
We continue to mourn with the family. May his soul rest in peace. Now, the chavazinga of Busoga, William Wilberforce Gabula Nadiope, has encouraged the Busoga to respond to the COVID-19 vaccination program and maintain the SOPs for the betterment of their lives. Gabula was speaking during his 7th coronation day at his home palace in Budumbula, Kamali Municipality, Kamali District. The function was attended by the First Deputy Prime Minister, Rebecca Kadaga, who represented the central government.
It was fun and joy in Budumbula as the chavazinga of Busoga celebrated his 7th coronation as the Gabula of Bugabula Chiefdom. The chavazinga was flanked by the First Deputy Premier, who is also the area Member of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga. During the scientific function that was also attended by the cultural leaders from Bugabula Chiefdom and Busoga Kingdom at large. During the function, Chavazinga asked his subjects across the kingdom to embrace COVID-19 testing protocols. Chavazinga also asked the gathering to embrace government programs to foster development in the region.
Tulima amatoke, emboli, muwogo, duma, emwani, omutiere, amaido, n'ebindi ebinatusobozesa okulwanisa ekyeya.
The First Deputy Prime Minister, who is also Minister for East African Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, noted that government is considering opening schools despite challenges related to vaccination. against COVID-19. The area leaders, however, expressed concerns over increasing numbers of early pregnancies that rank the region the highest. The woman member of parliament for Buyende district, Annette Mary Nakato, blamed the underdevelopment in the region to the rampant poverty in the region.
From the poverty level, very early in the morning they go to work and they send them to their aunties, their uncles, and so many things have happened.
The 7th coronation day of Chavazinga was held under the theme Protecting Us Against Early Pregnancies. Story compiled by Samuel Katandi for UBC News.
Now, people in the Karamoja sub-region want government to act immediately in the fulfillment of its pledged promises to convince all warriors still holding on to their illegal guns have them surrendered to the UPDF. Now, this comes at a time when government, through the State Minister for Karamoja Affairs, promised deserted LDUs and warriors to hand in their guns voluntarily as government considers resettling them with iron sheets and introduce them to commercial agriculture. This was revealed in different security meetings held at the districts of Kabong and Kotido to see how peace and stability can be returned in the ravaged Karamoja sub-region. We have the details.
It's close to 3 months since the disarmament exercise dubbed Operation Usalama kwa Wote started. However, it's not yet well felt on the ground as residents decry increasing raiding of cattle, killings, robbery, road ambushes on even security vehicles.
I go to again this house in broken. They just took the waragi. They capture 2 boys. They take off to the washer there.
In a camion last night, the criminals attacked the house of Giso. They were asking for his wife where the husband was, and she was pulled outside, and she had to pay 200,000 to rescue her life for her not to be killed.
Locals say when they call UPDF, they take long to respond, which give the criminals to cross to the neighboring Turkana, Toposa, and at times trading off their livelihoods to businessmen.
There is low deployment of soldiers in the corrals, not only in the corrals, also along the border of Kenya, along the border of Southern Sudan. These are our neighboring countries. So it has become a free entry for them and exit. So that is what is happening in the Kabong district.
However, the brigade commander, Colonel Wilberforce Selunkuma, says many people call for assistance at the same time, yet the force has a handful of resources to reach everywhere.
The police, because the police only has 72 policemen and officers and men, the police also needs to be beefed up because we have 4 police posts. If they can be given 30 policemen and women, they should be able to have an extra 120 policemen. Those ones will be able to provide the communities with the policemen who can be able to investigate cases.
Maria Nangiro, a widow and blind from Panyangara sub-county Kotido, faults UPDF in fire crossings that killed his son.
We want the government, at least, just because we women, we are now the worst. We are now suffering. We are now become widows. Because when they kill your husband, you remain there. No one will support you anymore.
This has left many to live in fear. The State Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Agnes Nandutu, called for unity and development among tribes.
Appealing to the women, because when these people are going out to trade, it is the women who pack for them the dry ration, it is the women who get water and sprinkle on them to have a successful raid. Now I am requesting them, as they go back in the night, let them convince and convince the youth, convince their husbands to hand over the guns back to the army and we settle them and make their lives better.
Maureen Yiga, UBC.
Thank you, Maureen Yiga. Now, election stakeholders in the 3 districts of Chibale, Kagadi and Kakumiro have asked the Electoral Commission to consider advancing payment of some election officials who have not since been cleared. The resident district commissioner, Deborah Mbabazi, informed the Electoral Commission chairperson, Justice Simon Byabakama, that many of the people who worked on the voter registers are still demanding their pay. Now, this was during a consultative meeting with Justice Simon Byabakama on post-election evaluation in Chibale district.
Annual payment. In Chibale, we still have people. They come to the office of RDC.
The resident district commissioner, Chibale District, Deborah Mbabazi, has asked the Electoral Commission chairperson, Justin Simon Byabakama, to consider paying areas of the team that worked on the voter registry. The team includes those that worked on updating voter registers in the 3 districts of Chibale, Kagadi, and Kakumiro. The chairperson, Kagadi District, Yosia Ndibwami, said presiding officers and their polling assistants were paid, but their counterparts have to date not received their pay.
When you are paying people who work for you, you pay first those who work first. But in situations where you see some displaying officers, for instance in Kagadi, to date they are still demanding the display officers, but those who presided over the election already here, it creates doubt.
Kakumiro District Chairperson Joseph Sentai applauded the National Electoral Commission for exhibiting integrity, transparency, fairness and ethics during the past elections.
When you compare the past elections and this election which we have just concluded, this one was a bit improved.
Justice Simon Byabakama tasked the district returning officers to compile names of those who were not paid and forward them for consideration. Byabakama also commended media houses, especially UBC, for supplementing government programs on the voter education and civic education during election period.
The majority have been paid. Remember, these are not permanent employees. We employ them on activity basis. Now, according to financial regulations, any person who is not a permanent employee, you do not access them on the payroll, you do not put them on the payroll, because anyone who is on the government payroll gets paid through his or her bank account. Now, these people are not required to open bank accounts.
Story compiled by Andrew Musinguzi for UBC News.
The State Minister for Economic Monitoring in Office of the President, Peter Ogwang, says those public officers who delay government projects will be prosecuted. Addressing the media at Uganda Media Center in Kampala, the minister says slow implementation of government projects has an impact on the beneficiaries and the economy at large. He says his office has now tightened the knots and warns on the looming implications of sleeping public servants. Take a look.
As you are aware, every quarter government releases funds for the implementation of programs and projects in line with the work plans submitted by the different MDAs and local governments. Unfortunately, some of the funds released under have been misused and misappropriated, thus depriving the intended beneficiaries of service that would transform their lives. This is a great disservice to our communities that entrusted our party, the NRM, with the leadership of this country. This, I want to say, must stop. And it can only be stopped by us leaders who are entrusted with this mandate. I also want to call upon the public to be vigilant and report all non-performing projects, both to me, to my ministry, and the technical people who are working with me as far as this is concerned. We had projected to transform our country into a middle-income level status by 2020, but this didn't happen because of mainly poor or slow implementation of development intervention that would have enabled to achieve this target. The most unfortunate bit is that if we delay or poorly implement development projects, we incur penalties on the money borrowed for implementation of this project. And in the long run, the money we would be using to increase our productivity level by implementing more projects end up in servicing loans and penalties suffered due to poor implementation. We can't continue running a country like this. Some people who have failed who have fallen short on their responsibilities must be brought to book. And the NRM government has to be exonerated from this irresponsibility.
The Executive Director, Kampala Capital City Authority, has interacted with the leaders of markets in a closed-door meeting to forge ways of transforming their businesses and work together for a common good. The interaction was at the KCCA headquarters in Kampala, where leaders promised to work hand in hand with the authority. We have the details.
Developing Kampala City has met the market leaders to meet the Executive Director for Kampala Capital City Authority on developments of markets. The Executive Director, Kampala Capital City Authority, Dorothy Chisaka, asked the leadership of markets to collaborate with local council leaders for a conducive development agenda for Kampala.
Government has 15 markets, and about 6 months ago, we installed interim leadership, which was to serve for a short time as we get ready to get more permanent leaders. We wanted to receive their reports, and we have received reports from all the 15 markets. What are their achievements? What are their challenges? What do they propose for a way forward on running the markets effectively?
Dorothy Chisaka tipped on organizing barazas to sensitize vendors and local council leaders on leadership and business.
One of the challenges we have between KCCA and the markets is the issue of vendors, mobile vendors and hawkers. The mobile vendors and hawkers hinder the work of the market people. And on our part, we have a challenge because the mobile vendors and hawkers congest the streets and an inconvenience to pedestrians and to people who are driving. So we are discussing that we need to work together. Our law enforcement have been accused of being the ones who are fueling the mobile vendors and hawkers. But let's work together. Since they said they know who is doing it, let's work together to ensure that we deal with this evil and get rid of it.
She urged the leadership of markets to collaborate with Kampala Capital City Authority to address their challenges. The acting chairperson, Owino Market, Susan Kushaba, asked for more security in the market due to the mushrooming violence and politicization of the market. The leaders asked for a total ban of vendors vending alongside roads.
Street vending is affecting all markets, let me say, in the whole Kampala. Street vending, most of the time, the beneficiaries are KCCA law enforcement because they are the one promoting it. When they find someone on the street, they just have to say, they chase that person away. Then someone behind that legal law enforcement comes back and pick money from that vendor whom they have chased. So when they leave the place, all people are on the street. So KCCA law enforcement, they should work hard really to change their picture in public, because they are the one causing this chaos of street vending.
Wycliffe Mudach, UBC.
Well, we take a short break, but we will return with more stories. Keep it UBC.
Today in history.
On the 10th of September 1960, Ethiopian Abebe Bikila became the first black African to win a gold medal in the history of the Olympic Games, running 1,000 meters in 2 hours, 15 minutes, 16.2 seconds. Born on the 7th of August 1932 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Abebe Bikila won an Olympic medal running barefooted, and he is the first black man ever to win 2 Olympic marathons. On the 25th of October 1973, Abebe Bikila breathed his last at the age of 41, and according to reports, he died of a cerebral hemorrhage related to his accident 4 years earlier.
My home, I smile when I think of you, Uganda. My home. home. I dance when I look at you, Uganda. My home, oh my Uganda.
I know with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home, under the sun so bright, under the moon at night, on my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey, mama.
At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
Join us virtually as we celebrate URA's 30th anniversary and annual Thanksgiving service. The event will be live on all major TV channels and on Zoom. The guest of honor will be His Excellency, the President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The celebrations will take place at the Kololo Independence Grounds on the 15th of September 2021, starting at 10 a.m. Ebenezer, thus far the Lord has helped us.
Lord, I am thankful for the name of Jesus, thankful for the blood that cleans us. Lord, I'm thankful for you. Each day I am thankful for the Spirit's leading, thankful that in you there's healing.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
5 for 5, 5 times the winning, yeah. 5 times the happiness, yeah. 5 times the luckiness, yeah. 5 for 5, oh yeah. It's 5 for 5. 5 for 5, 5 times the money, yeah. 5 times the shopping, yeah. 5 times the prizes, yeah. 5 for 5, oh yeah. It's 5 for 5. 5 for 5.
Win! 100,000 Uganda shillings weekly in the 5 for 5 jackpot. Simply download the Sente mobile app. Click Sente on the go to open your account online. Transact 5 times or more using Sente mobile, Sente Visa, and Sente agent to stand a chance to win. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. So, participate in the 5 for 5 jackpot and win millions in daily and weekly prizes. The 5 for 5 jackpot is brought to you by Centenary Bank, our bank. Centenary Bank is regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still watching UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu on Sign Language. Now moving on, State Minister for Transport, Fred Byamukama, has intervened in a long-standing compensation dispute between families who were affected by the oil passage plan. The families include those on the critical oil roads like Masindi-Biso-Bulisa districts, Hohwa, Nyairongo, Charushesha, and Kabale Chiziramfumbi Chikube district.
There has been a standing dispute involving a number of families demanding for compensation for their land that has led to the stalling of some oil roads in Chikube district.
Disheartening that we are having this and stalling our projects. As a district, we are very, very, of course, concerned. This is a very strategic road taking us to the airport.
Masindi Biso, Hohwa Nyairongo, Charusheshe, Butole and Kabale Kaziranfumbi were some of the affected projects. The Kabale Kaziranfumbi, 25.7 kilometers, which joins the Hoi Makaboya Road to the international airport under construction, is one of those roads that have been delayed.
The project cannot be delayed. The government use more money because once the contractor lacks land, when the work has commenced, they always charge the government. And we have agreed the money which they are fighting for, little can go to the sowers being claiming is the wife, then majority goes to cater for these children.
State Minister for Transport Fred Byamukama asked parties to agree with authorities to see that this issue is resolved amicably. This was during a field visit and resolving of a compensation dispute in Charwensambia village in Chiziranfumbi sub-county Chikube district. These properties were affected by the road construction works.
There's a lot of people on the way who are not well compensated, and also a few problems, families not understanding each other about compensation. But as a member of parliament, I saw that problem and petitioned our minister for transport.
And there are also some people who come in as a kayungiris whom guide people, and people end up spending a lot of money in the court.
Both the widows to the late, Justin Nsimire Nalongo and Sylvia Tuijuche, and their father-in-law welcomed the outcome. The LC1 chairman, Charwensambia village in Chiziranfumbi Town Council, Leonard Ntoreine, was arrested on orders of the minister for issuing contradicting documents to the parties involved. The acting head of land acquisition in UNRWA, Juliet Oyela, advised the public to always embrace such mediations to resolve disputes outside court. According to UNRWA, at least 95% of the contested land is now compensated for.
Cannot be delayed. The government use more money because once the contractor lacks land, when the work has commenced, they always charge the government. And we have agreed the money which they are fighting for, little can go to the sowers being claiming is the wife, then majority goes to cater for these children.
And we know it will be taken back to court for consent judgment, which is a big win for us, and we are grateful to the Honourable Minister.
Story compiled by George Niyonzima for UBC News.
National Drug Authority has impounded 118 boxes of assorted drugs from pharmacies and clinics selling medicines illegally. The total value of impounded drugs has been estimated to be over 46 million shillings. Take a look.
National Drug Authority has conducted a targeted enforcement operation on drug outlets in Kampala district to ensure compliance with its policy. The head of enforcement, Samuel Chomukama, says the operation was intended to protect the population from substandard, counterfeit and unqualified persons.
Following offences: carrying out a business of a pharmacist without a license contrary to section 14 subsection 3 of the National Drug Policy and Authority Act. Secondly, unlawful possession of classified drugs contrary to section 27 subsection 2 of the National Drug Policy and Authority Act.
The targeted outlets include 22 drug outlets, of which 14 were pharmacies, 4 clinics, drug shops, among others. The culprits have been charged with 2 counts of carrying out a business of a pharmacy without a license and unlawful possession of classified drugs.
Was arrested and held at Kabaragara police station. Mushabe Rogers and Shawita Namagembe were arrested and held at Katwe police station. Nakanyike Reste was arrested and held at Katwe police station. Kasendwa Badru and Dungu Fred were arrested and held at Chira Road police station. Mugenyi Brian, a juvenile of 17 years, was arrested and held at Chira Road police station because he was found advertising herbal medicine. Namudu Jazira, a juvenile aged 17 years, was arrested and she's held at all.
National Drug Authority, however, has advised all operators whose drug outlets have been closed and drugs impounded to report to their offices for guidance. Zahara Abigaba, UBC.
All right, now the Chief Executive Officer, A Million Trees National Initiative Uganda, Dr. Semakula Jibril Owomugisha, has decried increased loss of vegetation cover across the country. Now, Semakula says Uganda's vegetation cover has been declining at a very alarming rate since 1990. The Executive Director, National Environment Authority, Dr. Barirega Akankwasa, says efforts must be put in place to harmonize efforts aimed at saving the environment.
The quest for economic development and population growth is exerting significant negative pressure on the country's ecosystems. The Chief Executive Officer, A Million Trees National Initiative Uganda, Dr. Semakula Jibril Owomugisha, says restoration of Uganda's forest cover calls for a concerted effort.
As far as ecosystem restoration is concerned in Uganda, Uganda is reaching a step of losing trees up to the level of 0%. That is if we don't come up. But since 2013, we came up as an organization basically to work upon this, increase sensitization, to engage communities.
Biodiversity encroachment, water channels clogging is a big setback to environmental conservation.
Is the people being ignorant about the disadvantages of non-biodegradable substances to communities? That is the basic challenge, that people are not aware of what is happening in various communities. As far as after dumping Kavera, improper handling of plastics is happening.
Now, A Million Trees Initiative Uganda wants to partner with the National Environmental Management Authority to harmonize environment conservation.
How can we work together? This is basically aiming at ensuring the implementation of the National Environmental Act 5 of 2019.
The Executive Director, NEMA, Dr. Barirega Akankwasa, is not happy with poor policies on Kavera because they are not eliminating environmental degradation.
But our law, as you know, currently prohibits only up to 30 microns. So we are going to come up with amendments to the law to achieve the government policy, which government has declared. Once government has declared a policy, we can only work towards implementing it.
Now, A Million Trees Initiative plans to plant indigenous trees across selected areas of the country to improve the national environmental conservation. Mutonyi Hilda and Setumba Douglas, UBC.
Now, one has died in Masindi district during an LD recruitment exercise. The police and UPDF trainers have confirmed the death, which they attribute to strenuous training. Take a look.
Went with the briefing. The boy ran very well and came back up to the pitch. He was around number 30 something because I had gone with around 70. I discovered he had collapsed. So I started calling for medics to come and help me out. The only thing I heard from him was he was telling me there's a big snake just coming towards him to bite him. So I knew he was not in his senses. So I called for the medics. We carried him. Just as bit as we reached inside, he briefly flashed. So that's what I can actually explain about Stuart, the boy we lost.
The exercise has gone on well, and we have come to the end of it right now. Though we have not got the right number, but at least we have got more than 90%. Today, one Abitegeka Stewart, a born of Kisanja, after running 2 kilometers, collapsed on reaching the playground here. The doctors tried to resuscitate him, but within less than 5 minutes he was gone. So it was a sorry moment for us, because we never expected one to pass on while doing exercises. He could have, according to the doctor's assessment, they say it could be heart failure. But we shall ascertain that by tomorrow, because the body has been taken to undergo a post-mortem. That's when we shall ascertain what really killed him.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. Finding a good place to watch football was never easy, but it was costly until James discovered something big. Now he can finally enjoy the benefits of homegrown advantage with a decoder and 1 month of GoTV value. For just 25,000 shillings, enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cap competitions. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Brought to you by
Transact 5 times or more using Center Mobile, Center Visa, and Center Agent to stand a chance to win. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. So, participate in the 545 jackpot and win millions in daily and weekly prizes. The 545 jackpot is brought to you by Centenary Bank, our bank.
All right, now welcome back from the break. And now into business news. Uganda Revenue Authority has launched a nationwide corporate social responsibility initiative as part of the activities to mark its 30 years of existence. China Friendship Hospital in Naguru is the first beneficiary of the drive, which runs on the theme, Believe There Is Good. Take a look.
Uganda Revenue Authority is this year celebrating 3 decades of service to the nation. The Commissioner General of the tax body, David Musinguzi, says the entity has played a significant role in the achievement of key social and economic goals.
We are working together to make sure that we mobilize enough revenue to make our nation a better place for everyone. So it is a tough job. We work until late. We work in difficult circumstances. The environment at the tower is not representative to what many of our officers go through.
Through hard work, innovation, collaboration, patriotism and commitment, URA forecasts a brighter future for the country.
We can see you are addressing a certain niche, a certain sector of our populace or of our citizens who really need a lot of care and support. And for that, we thank you, and that's why we came to Naguru. We could have gone to Mulago and other bigger hospitals, but we said, let's go to these people who address and support those members of our society who do so much to support this nation to move forward. And that's why we are here.
This was observed at the launch of a nationwide corporate social responsibility initiative at the China Friendship Hospital in Naguru.
The numbers we have eventually outweigh the run down the operating tables. We need those, in addition to the patient monitors. We need ECG machines to be in place.
The authority donated 20 admission cots, 150 plastic seats and a 200-seater tent to the hospital, in addition to the staff cleaning the premises.
As the staff of URA continue believing there is good in the world, for us in Naguru we shall work towards excellence in healthcare for all.
URA's CSR initiative is running under the theme, Believe there is good. Dennis Igor for UBC News.
Uganda Tourism Board has just concluded a repertoire visit of some underdeveloped tourism sites in Acholi sub-region in northern Uganda with the intent to partner with local communities and investors to make the sites world-class tourism hotspots. Now on this trail, Wadulo Mark Arnold discovers the potential of some untapped tourism sites in Gulu and Amuru district.
With a long-standing history of violence and political unrest, Acholi sub-region can now boast of increasing economic activity due to government peacekeeping initiatives. This has made the region a high priority on Uganda Tourism Board's tourism agenda.
Those days we were having problems security because of the Konyu War, but now we have the security is now stable. It's now stable, and second, the Ministry of Tourism also have recruited a security officer. We have one. They are on top of the tour guide. We work with them. Also, we work with the OC Police or Particle Post, also is near with us, and the GISU.
The UNESCO General Assembly Convention of 1972 stipulates that sites such as these ought to be protected by the state. However, their underdevelopment is due to the region's prior insecurity that led to encroachment on the tourism sites over the years, a concern for many local communities in Acholi who hold high cultural attachment to these sites.
In the past, this site is where the Lord Resistance Army Commander Joseph Kony came and performed his ritual here. I've learned from my grandfather that he slaughters a white sheep here to perform his spiritual beings. And even in the past, when LRA want to attack a nearby center here, they first come and they seek for permission from these hot springs. But now, seeing people have encroached in it, we need to go to a rightful mechanism in ensuring that the place is protected.
The site hasn't been developed. When I say developed, I mean the surrounding site to host visitors. We haven't got the required infrastructure.
One of the greatest challenges is, of course, access to these tourism sites. The fact that the areas haven't been developed is challenging the potential to tourism. But Uganda Tourism Board is trying its best to establish, relationships with these communities to make sure that they can improve these sites.
Yes, as government, as UTB, we are a facilitator. We don't go directly into development, but definitely it's our role to look for partners. It can be a PPP, that is public-private partnership. It can also be private sector intervention only.
For a very long time, tourism has been viewed as a fun and lively activity, which it is, but also there is an element of it in regards to sustainability, conservation, and I think that this is an area where the media could help us to take to the public.
Heavy public and private sector investment is due if the tourism potential in Acholi sub-region is to be realized. Uganda Tourism Board is working with Uganda Wildlife Conservation Education Center, Uganda Wildlife Authority, along with community leadership to map out various high-potential sites to add on northern Uganda's tourism itinerary. Wadulo Mark Arnold for UBC News in Gulu District.
Thank you, Wadulo Mark Arnold. Now, the national carrier, Uganda Airlines, has now set sights on leveraging on cargo transportation as a mainstay for the airline during this period where passenger travel has been greatly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The airline's acting CEO, Jennifer Bamuturaki, says the team she heads now is putting systems in place to market the airlines as a leading cargo transporter in and out of Entebbe.
So the one thing we're going to do that, even if, rather much as we are red listed for human movement, the cargo bit is not red listed. So we are making sure that we still keep our timelines that we mentioned, regardless of what's going on, to carry cargo to these markets. Now you asked a question, what are we doing differently? With everything that is going on, I strongly believe that the change that is going to happen, that is happening, is making sure that people are vaccinated and the SOPs are followed even in airports or on board. Now Uganda Airlines is making sure that we have all that in place. Not the vaccinations as such, but to make sure that we have the SOPs, we're following the SOPs, and we give our passengers the information they require. Yes, the industry has changed a lot, and as people coming in, as an airline coming in at this time, there's a lot that we have to put into consideration. I've been telling my teams that it's not just about COVID. There's definitely a way we can be able to carry people, because there are airlines that have been flying even during lockdowns, even during COVID. What were they doing? It was not just cargo. So the teams are back to the boardroom to brainstorm on what are we going to do differently. First, our service must be tops. You know, we must be able to make the people want to come back again. Then we are working, especially with our government and our ministry, to make the whole process, the journey, the process for the client, a good one when they arrive, that they are not in the airport for so long. The processes for PCRs are not taking them so long. So there are many things that we're coming together to discuss and make sure that by the time we start flying, we have the numbers.
And now into international news. U.S. President Joe Biden and Chinese leader Xi Jinping spoke for 90 minutes on Thursday in their first talks in 7 months, discussing the need to ensure that competition between the world's two largest economies does not veer into conflict. We have the details.
Chinese President Xi Jinping says the recent U.S. policies towards China have strained bilateral ties, and that's not in the interest of the people of the two countries or the world. He made comment in a phone conversation with his U.S. counterpart Joe Biden on Friday. Xi Jinping also called for the two countries to bring ties back to the right track and to shoulder more international responsibilities in the face of global challenges. U.S. President Joe Biden stressed the importance of China-U.S. relations and agreed to lead bilateral ties to the right track through more cooperation and negotiations. Both leaders also agreed to expand cooperation on climate change, COVID-19 pandemic prevention and control, as well as economic recovery.
And into sports news, goals by Eric Kambale and Martin Chiza have given Express Football Club a 2-1 victory over El Merrick. With a Championship League preliminary game played at St. Mary's Stadium, Chitende. Express got off to a flying start when Eric Kambale scored within the first quarter of the game, but the Express defense looked disorganized late in the half to grant El Merrick a vital away goal scored by Abdu El Gadir for the first half to end 1-1. In the second stanza, Martin Chiza restored the home team's advantage after being picked out immaculately by Godfrey Lwesibawa in the 60th minute. The hosts couldn't get another goal to get a bigger advantage ahead of the second leg in Sudan next week. The winner of this tie will play either Equatorial Guinea's Akonagoi Football Club or Zanaco of Zambia for a place in the lucrative Champion League's group phase. Next up for Uganda in continental football is Uganda Revenue Authority against Ethiopian outfit Coffee at the St. Mary's Stadium in Chitende on Sunday. Construction works at Nachibuvo Stadium have increased in intensity, with visibility of progress now evident. Good news for Uganda is that most of the work are on the rail component of the stadium, with the stands prominent.
In less than 12 months from now, Ugandans are likely to see the first phase of Nachibuvo Stadium complete.
The progress is good. We are working. And which areas now are you targeting to ensure that you quicken the completion of the stadium? As per now, we are almost dealing with the last two flights. The last two flights of the stadium. And to have an average Ugandan who is not much into engineering and construction, what does that mean?
That is a period of almost 1 year, which we can take to do the remaining work, because the difficult work is done.
This facility that is being developed by Ham Enterprises was initially meant to be delivered in 5 years, but the COVID-19 pandemic reduced facilitator income, which slowed process.
I see guys on the stands, I see guys on the shops. Which are the focus areas?
Definitely the stands, because we want to finish the we are targeting 5 years, and now the 5 years are almost reaching.
Okay.
But as you know, we have been dealing with we have been working in a difficult work period. That is that of the pandemic, the COVID. Yes. So it slowed down the work.
A visit at the construction site of Uganda's oldest football grounds is met by visible improvements from the past, as various key aspects like the stands are now up.
Busoga, twakoze stand zino omuntu waba atuddeko aberenga ali comfortable kuba tugenda teekamu obutebe aberenga ebigere tebikola tebimuluma tokola bawoba ogalinnya owuliranga amawanvu newano twagakozemu enengeri nti omuntu yenna mwabeeranga mujinka waba atudde bulungi omuntu wajja muluma kati oluvannyuma tugenda kukolamu gali abantu gye bakola ki gye batambulirako.
When complete, the surface will be astroturf and the capacity well beyond the 10,000 mark. It will maintain a semblance of the old facility with marked areas for VIP and the Kirasha stand for the ordinary fan in the same position as of old. When complete, it will be used to host several matches, especially in the Uganda Premier League.
Now, two of Uganda's most legendary coaches, Sam Simbwa and Mike Mutebi, have been chosen to tutor teams that will contest the first ever All-Star football game in Uganda. Now, the All-Stars Gala will be between two teams named after fallen legendary star players Paul Hasule and Jimmy Chirunda. Sam Simbwa will be in charge of Team Hasule, while Mutebi will be in charge of Team Chirunda. The two teams will comprise of only Star Times Uganda Premier League players that will be voted by fans via an online portal. The two managers will then choose their players in a raffle that will be live on television. The game will be played on the 27th of September, with the winning coach bagging 5 million Uganda shillings, while the loser takes 3 million Uganda shillings. Each player on the winning team will earn 1 million, while the losers take home 500,000 Uganda shillings. Many activities, including a skills challenge by the fans, are scheduled ahead of the game that is a precursor to the league expected to start.
Two of Uganda's most teams that will contest in the first ever All-Stars football game in Uganda. The All-Stars Gala will be between two teams named after fallen legendary star players Paul Hasule and Jimmy Chirunda. Simbwa will be in charge of Team Hasule, while Mutebi takes charge of Team Kirunda.
Team Hasule, it's blue. This is why I'm dressed in blue. And I'm happy to be associated with Team Hasule because he was a good friend of mine. He was my captain in the national team. We won 3 trophies with him, and we were almost moving with him. We can testify.
The two teams will comprise of only Star Times Uganda Premier League players that will be voted for by fans via an online portal. The two managers will then choose their players in a raffle that will be live on television.
The main reason why we are here is to ensure that we actually promote Star Times Uganda Premier League. Remember, Star Times entered into an agreement with FUFA to make sure that we bring football to the people.
The game will be played on the 27th of September, with the winning coach bagging 5 million shillings, while the loser 3 million. Each player on the winning team will earn 1 million shillings, while the losers will take home 500,000 Uganda shillings. Many activities, including a skills challenge by the fans, are scheduled ahead of the game. That's a precursor to the league start expected next month.
All right, now we've come to the end of this edition of UBC News Tonight, but before we sign out, let's first take a look again at tonight's headlines. President Museveni says Kral intelligence will curb re-emerging cattle thefts. Hotel Africana proprietor Ibrahim Chibirige is dead. Emwanyi Terimba, Katikiro Maiga visits Gomba. And in sports, Express Football Club beat El Merrick in preliminary CAF game. We want to thank you so much for your company this lovely evening. Do enjoy our reggae program, Skanking Rays, and of course have yourself a lovely weekend. We'll leave you with weather forecast for tomorrow with Ken Samba, Duffin, I'm Lauryn Kazimoto, and Mugalu Muhammad. We wish you a lovely night.
In the northern part of our country, but then in the southern part of Uganda we had showers, especially areas around Lake Victoria this morning. But then later in the afternoon we had showers in most parts of Uganda. Though some areas still had sunny intervals. According to the report that we received today, Bududa reported the highest amount of rainfall of 8.2 millimeters, and then Masaka we had 6.9 millimeters. Masindi we had 2.8 millimeters. This is because the rain belt is over our country, and also we are getting winds that are coming in from India towards Uganda. That's why we are having isolated showers in most parts of Uganda. Tomorrow we are expecting to start the day with the showers in the southern sector of Uganda, but then in the northeastern and also some few areas in the northern we are expecting sunny intervals. Later in the afternoon we are expecting sunny intervals around Lake Victoria. Other parts of Uganda we are expecting isolated thunder showers. Temperatures expected to rise to 29 degrees Celsius in the northeastern part of the country. In the southwestern Uganda, we're expecting temperatures to rise to 23 degrees Celsius. In other parts of Uganda, we're expecting temperatures to rise from 27 to 28 degrees Celsius. Going to Dubai, New York and Pretoria, we're expecting sunny conditions. And then in London and Moscow, we're expecting showers with temperatures rising to 22 degrees Celsius in London. That's what we had in our store. Thanks for tuning into UBC. I'm Daphne Kavasita Nsamba from Uganda National Meteorological Authority.
Be part of the launch of the new National SDG Roadmap 2021-2025.
We can be, we must be.
The generation that starts the journey of repairing the earth. It's possible. We have the roadmap.
The global goals, a 15-year plan that includes each and every one of us with the intention of
leaving no one behind.
The government of Uganda, through the Office of the Prime Minister in partnership with the United Nations in Uganda, invites you to the launch of the country's National Sustainable Development Goals Roadmap 2021-2025. The SDGs are the world's blueprint to achieve a better and sustainable future for all by 2030, leaving no one behind. The Right Honourable Robina Nabanja, Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, will preside over the launch of the roadmap on Wednesday, the 15th of September 2021, starting at 8:30 a.m. The launch will be telecast live on UBC TV. Attendance is by invitation only.
Join us from Monday to Friday for Good Morning Uganda with me, Felix Mkunda.
Priscilla Naloda.
Robert Chirabo.
Molen Kenyela.
Ruben Mpimba. With all the morning's essentials,
including the very latest in news, traffic,
weather and sports.
Live on TV and across all our social media platforms. #UBCGMU.
Hope you'll be setting your alarms, cause we are looking forward to seeing you then.
This is Good Morning Uganda.